Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel, The Grim Reader. I have the camera showing you my bookcase, and because I wanted to show you some rearranging that I did. So basically I need to come over here and show you another part of my room, but maybe I'm not quite sure what to do first. So yeah, so basically what I did was I decided on here to split it up between read and unread, just to get, so I have a clearer sense of like what is unread on this is my sort of most important shelves. We have the bunch of shelves out there, but they're more like books that have just been in our possession for a long time, and those shelves don't change that much. I mean, they do a little bit, but anyway, these are my sort of currently what I'm interested in shelves. And so what I did was, first off, this is all fiction. This is my fiction. Over there in that last cubby is some journals, but the rest is fiction, German and English. And so what I did was, along the first shelf here is all the ones that I've already read, but that I still kind of want to have on my shelf. And that goes down to here. This one I read, which is, it's the Herta Müller novel that I read, the Nobel Prize-winning writer Herta Müller. So that's that, and so that's why the Oxfords are split up, because those are the ones I read, and these are the ones I haven't read. So then we go into, and I really am enjoying right now, at least, I think it's nice for me to have a sense of all the ones that are basically my TBR, and it is a lot, I know, but even though I don't think I'll ever be someone who does a complete no-buy, it's nice to have this sense of these are all the ones I could pick up one of these at any point in time, depending on my mood. And so that's that. And so let me come over here, and because of time and busyness, I'm just not even going to cut the switch around. I'll just make sure you don't see what's behind the screen, which you can guess has to do with cats. So this corner has changed because I put in an actual bookcase that wasn't here before, and it's a little bit of a pity because it kind of squishes my little corner bookcase, which I liked. So aesthetically it's not optimal, but that's okay. For now, I just need this other case. So on the top here is kind of silly, but whatever. My birthday's next week, and I buy my own gifts, and so I've been piling up things that I haven't unpacked yet so I have things to open on my birthday. So quite a few things have arrived. I know basically, well, I know what they are, but I don't remember exactly what they look like. So it's kind of still a surprise. So those are my gifts that I'll open next Sunday when I have my birthday. And then, so these shelves right here, so the bottom is just kind of like catch-all boxes and encyclopedia. But then what it basically is my nonfiction, except I have all these NYRB, and this is what I think I'm going to change. Since these are all fiction, my New York Review of Books editions, I think I will put them over here on the other side, and I'll divide them up the same way into read and unread. Here there are very few that I've read, and I've already sorted them out. These 4 I've read, and one of them is a book I hated, but I've talked about it before. But all of these I haven't read yet, so I want to kind of incorporate them into the other bookshelf, I think. The one over here, my fiction. So I think that's what I'll do, but I'm not sure when I'll do it. Not now. Because now I have to talk to you about my books. Now let me see if I can do the switch around. I think I'll have to stop the camera and switch it around. So 1 second. Hey everyone, so here I am on camera, just very casually with not the preparation that I usually do from before. You reacted so well to that, so I feel fine just doing it this way. So, late at night, I have to get ready for going to sleep soon for the week. Let me see, what do I need to talk about? I finished my Arnold Bennett novel. Basically listening, a little bit of reading on my Kindle, because I had a version of the book on my Kindle, The Old Wives' Tale by Arnold Bennett. Absolutely fantastic and enjoyable read. that spans the lifetime of two sisters who live in the Five Towns area of England. So it was 5 smaller towns that I think it only happened, it was a very early example of federation. So the glumming together of smaller municipalities into one bigger one. This became very common. I know it was quite common in Germany. And the 5 towns, which are basically in the area called the Western Midlands, so north, a little bit west of London area, towards, the north, it's the Midlands. I'm not that familiar with the area. I've heard of Staffordshire. I have quite a lot of ancestry from the area, but so the novel takes place in one of the towns of the 5 towns, the mother of the 5 towns, which its actual name is Bursley, and in the book I think it's Burslem or something, very similar to what its actual name is. And it's an early industrialized area that was known for its pottery. And getting back to the novel, which I don't remember what year he wrote it. It's somewhat post-Victorian, and it's a fantastic listen. It was completely enthralling to me. I truly loved it and would highly recommend it if you're into a pretty traditional but very well written depiction of the lives of these 2 sisters, and they have very different lives, and then they come back together at the end, kind of. And the way he tells the story is reminiscent of, to me, just because, I am reading Zola, so it was somewhat Zola, I kept thinking of Balzac, because he's a little bit, I don't know, it's not quite, because it is sort of, he takes delight in describing the pretty mundane comings and goings of these people. But then he'll add interesting things beyond that, and he'll kind of make a bigger statement about people's lives, a kind of social Darwinist. That's why it has a very realist feel to it. So he'll hone in on the vicissitudes of their daily livings, and then he'll kind of zoom out and make pronouncements. And one thing is that you see what he's doing is how he describes how people become weirdly obsessed by strange things and sort of hang their fates on these things, for better or for worse. And usually the things that they hang their fates on have to do with their feelings about a person, for some reason. And he does that really well. And so the novel, because it's such a covers such a wide swath, is epic in scale. And one of the sisters spends a lot of her time in France, and so you get the very provincial life of this town, and specifically the square of the town where the store is. They're shopkeepers of a clothing store, the Baineses. And then the other daughter runs away to Paris, and so you get a lot of stuff of her living in Paris, her life in Paris, her interactions with French people, specifically men, and it's all really good. It's very sort of, for lack of a better term, page-turnery, even though it's about just their lives. He's able to make the lives of these fairly ordinary people fascinating and interesting, and that's all I ask for. And towards the end, things get a little bit melancholy, as oftentimes that happens anyway in life. So the sort of dwellings on what could have been, or not exactly mistakes made or anything, more just like, why did things turn out the way they did? And I sort of keep wondering about how bourgeois is Bennett. How much is he really coming down on the side of being someone who would suggest that because one didn't sort of play by the rule book, one is deserving of the fate that one undergoes? And he puts those kinds of sentiments in some of the characters in the novel, but I don't know how much he actually believes it. Although, I mean, he makes his characters believe these things. Specifically, one of the characters who sort of, basically didn't do what it was expected of her. On the one hand, she's completely successful. That's why I'm sort of like a little bit surprised at how much is dwelt on about how her life didn't turn out the way people wanted it to turn out, because she was basically, I mean, she did not become destitute, and the reason she didn't become destitute was because she's so, and this is how she's described, smart, shrewd, practical person, and full of a sort of innate pride in herself, like able to not get beaten down by life, all these kind of good things. So it sort of seems a little unfair to then kind of describe her as someone whose life has been kind of a failure. I don't know. I hope this is not too spoilery. I highly encourage you to check him out as a writer. He's a realist. If you like Trollope, if you like some of the sort of realistic 19th century writing, I thought it was thoroughly, and it was a quick listen too, because you just get so caught up in these people's lives. I would definitely listen to more Bennett. So in terms of the week, it was a busy week at work. Things are just gearing up, as they always do. And we had our pre-birthday outing yesterday, and we went to a lovely breakfast place that we always like to eat breakfast at. And then we had a stop at a new bookstore, and it was a little bit sort of, it wasn't exactly disappointing, but I just didn't see anything that I wanted to spend my money on on a new book. Like, that's a lot of money. I spend money on lots of things, in case you haven't noticed, and also books if it's a decent price, but nothing there. I was sort of thinking, because I'm thinking about Victober, it's like, where is their Victober section? It's very sort of scattered within the fiction. There's no designated area for the things that I'm interested in, and a lot of it is just very new stuff, and I'm just not that interested in new stuff, or I would need to become more interested. I hadn't done enough research on some of the newer things, but for time reasons. So none of the things that were out were ones that I really wanted to pick up. The only thing I got, and I'm not sure, I mean, I think it'll be a nice book to read. It's a sort of a self-helpy type thing. It's been around, is Wintering by Catherine May. This was on sale, so I got it for about $10 as opposed to 20 something. I don't even know. But I thought I would pick it up, and it actually starts in September, so I can read it now, start reading it now. Indian Summer. The Power of Rest and Retreat in Difficult Times, which is sort of a nice, cozy self-help book, which I think I will enjoy, at least to a certain degree. And so right now, on my Kindle, I'm struggling a little bit. One thing I found out is it helps me to read it with a kind of a line, like a bookmark, as I read through. And I've put The Passenger aside that I had started with Cormac McCarthy. And what I got as a sample, and I might buy it, I'm not sure yet, is Mervyn Peake's Gormenghast, the first Gormenghast book, which it's very odd. It's a sort of an early fantasy written in the 40s, I gather. And it's a very strange beginning, but not unintriguing. So, I might keep up with that too. I'm not sure. On the other hand, so Victober is coming upon us, and the group read is Trollope's The Way We Live Now, which is very long, as a lot of his works are. So I downloaded the Audible, which to me is free because of the way my husband Bill has a prescription, and so we can just get on there and it's just a free read, 32 hours, there you go. Timothy West does a good job. So I decided I would start listening to The Way We Live Now, get a head start on the group read, which is scheduled for, I'm looking at the big long schedule of the whole book, scheduled for the whole of October, with 4 chapters on the weekend days and then 3 chapters on the weekdays. And his chapters are medium length, so it's pretty doable, especially if I'm listening to it. But of course, one of my last birthday presents to myself is I do have a copy of it coming as well. So that's another thing that I'm reading. And so I started the Peak, so I'm not sure if I want to, I'll see if I want to actually go beyond a sample, because right now it's just a sample and I have to buy it otherwise. The other book I got, I like this person's Substack, and to be honest, I don't really know how I found out about him. His name is Austin Kleon, and he's actually a Miami grad, so the university I went to school, I teach at, no, I didn't go to school here. He is an interesting fellow. He writes a really interesting Substack that draws you in about kind of learning how to get those creative juices flowing. And he has a nice sort of basic style. And so this is the journal one of his book, How to Steal an Artist. So it has all these prompts that you're supposed to do. And I have to be in the right mood to not just, like, he wants you to be kind of creative and not rule bound. But I have a feeling when he says 10 things I want to learn, he wants you to say things like instruments and languages, and instead Kathy's writing things like how to not get upset so easily. Is that something I can learn? Or how to tap into happy feels, how to be content. So I have a feeling I'm not really doing it in the spirit of what he wants us to be doing it in, but then maybe that's okay too, because, you know, I'm being creative. I don't know. Well, this one here was supposed to sort of say what the triangles are to us, and so I'm not very good at this part, so I just wrote it's a Christmas tree, and then in the next one I thought it would be cheeky and write, well, it's a triangle, because it is a triangle. So you can see I'm kind of being a little bit irreverent by, I don't know, sometimes I have a hard time with these kind of assignments that we're supposed to do, but some of them might be useful. Then he has this one, it's kind of hilarious for a stationary person. It says here, go to an art store and shop for a new pen. Use this page as a tester. I'm like, I have so many pens that I haven't really tested, so. But then, I mean, I do like the idea of some of these things. Your favorite quote here, say it in 5 different ways. Actually, that's kind of interesting. I like that one. Make a collage from items in your wastebasket. Actually, see, that's kind of cool. I'm looking at my wastebasket. Don't know about that. Anyway, I thought this would be fun. And I'm going to, this is the kind of book, though, it's sort of almost wishful thinking for me to get this while I'm teaching, because I'm not going to have time to do much of this kind of stuff, except on the fly. But yeah, we'll see. And I think that's about it. So seems to be this space of waiting for Victober to start, but I have started the audio. So either I'll continue with the Mervyn Peak, the Gormenghast. I have these other ones that are still on my shelf, but it's okay for them to wait. Actually, I also signed up for an online buddy feed that we've moved from Twitter to Blue Sky, another Margaret Young novel, which I'll tell you about another time. But so the other thing is I could just pick one of my TBR things that are here. All of these ones are things I could read, except for the top there. So, not sure. I have to think about it, and yeah, also not stress about it. So yeah, the outing was really nice, except for being a little bit, not sad exactly, but like, okay, I didn't see anything I want to buy. It's funny because my husband bought a lot of gardening books, and we were going there for me to buy books, but it's fine. And then at Trader Joe's, if you know, you know, they were out of Trader Joe's soup dumplings, which are one of my favorite comfort foods ever, ever, ever. I just love them. They're not vegan or anything, but they're delicious and so easy to make. And I asked the lady, do you have any soup dumplings? She said, no. And then she's like, but we get them every day. I'm like, yeah, we don't come every day. We live about an hour away. And for us, it's a special treat to come in. So yeah, the tale of the missing Trader Joe soup dumplings it's fine. I will live. I got so many yummy things, sweet things, savory things. So yeah, we're not looking for delicious foods. Yeah, I'm gonna get ready for bed and then get cozy. You saw my picture on Instagram in my cozy place with my emotional support sloth, Yuri, named after the character in Dr. Zhivago that I read this year. And yeah, I've got to think about my reading. Like, do I want to start a book? Do I want to keep trying with the Kindle? We shall see. I'm going to slap these two together. I'm not going to worry about editing or anything. And yeah, I will see you next week. Bye, and thank you all for watching. And I love your comments. I really do. Bye.